Right, we have a season-defining episode coming up today. We are playing against the only two teams who are currently above us in the league. I know I like to drop a cliche. Get your cliche bingo cards out. Make or break, 6-pointers. What else? There's probably more. If you add those two, though, make sure you tick them off on your card. And we also need to welcome another person aboard the Lollujo party bus. We have another Patreon supporter. His name is Charlie Pumphrey. I hope I've said your name right, Charlie. Thank you very much for your support. If you too would like to be a passenger on everybody's favourite bus, all the details for how to get involved with supporting the channel via Patreon are down in the description to this video. Hello and welcome to Season 4, Part 6 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kev, and coming up on today's episode, we are at home against top of the league Plymouth and then away against second place Swindon. As you can see from the league table, I'm probably blocking most of it. Hold on, there you go. We'll look at it like this. The league table, it's quite tight at the top. We've got a nice little gap between us and Morecambe, separating us from the playoff positions down in 4th to 7th places. But obviously, if we lose both games against the two teams better than us, Morecambe will have the opportunity to go past us and Northampton will be right on our tails. So, we need wins. Wins will put us up at least to second and possibly challenging up there with Plymouth. This is probably our only chance to have a go at a title-winning season. We've got to win both games. Since you were last with me, form has been pretty good again. We did have the one blot on the copybook, the disappointing 3-2 away loss against Northampton. Oh, how different things could have been if we'd have managed to pull off a result in that game. But if we ignore that game happened, we're scoring goals for fun. We're winning lots of games. Unfortunately, Rekyle Pike he's probably going to miss both games. He's out with the flu. He's going to be out for the next 7 days. So he's definitely missing today's game against top of the table Plymouth, and he might not be fit enough to play next weekend either. I mean, that's a pretty hefty flu that he's got there. Bless him. Hope he's not feeling too poorly. If you're watching, Rekyle, get well soon. Plenty of Lemsip. Don't have Lemsip. Lucasade. Maybe a Coke Zero to perk your spirits up a little bit. We kind of need you for next week. So this is the team that we're going to be playing against Plymouth. We do have a new signing. We weren't able to get any of the loan players back. We should probably look at the transfers. O'Neill, the other lad who was injured, the other midfielder, can't remember his name, he's probably on here somewhere, where is he? Blanchfield, and Ogo Obi have all gone back to their parent clubs. I don't know why we couldn't get them again. I wonder if it's got something to do with the fact that their contracts for their parent clubs expire in the summer. I don't see how it is that, though, because that was the situation with Benteke and Jackson last season. We got them both on loan, signed them on a free afterwards. We're definitely keeping tabs on O'Neill. We'd very much like to get him back, but he's gone back to his parent club. There's not a lot we can do about it. So, to try and fill the gap that we've now got in midfield, we have brought in some League 2 experience. Seamus Keneally. He's joining us primarily as a central midfield player, where he can play as a ball-winning midfielder, box-to-box midfielder. He's going to add some much-needed grunt in the centre of midfield that we're now going to be losing with O'Neill departing. But he can also play anywhere across the back line. He can play out wide on the right. Plenty of flexibility. He was cheap. We've not got him here on a massively long contract. And he's got loads and loads of experience playing in this league, albeit for Accrington, who've never really been challenging to get out of it. And he's not ever really been spectacular. He's started life with us quite well, averaging a 7.3 in his first couple of games. They were playing in midfield. He is going to be playing for us at right back today. Marlon Romeo, not as match fit as I would like him to be for such a big game, so he drops down to the bench, allowing Keneally to drop back to right back, and we bring Craigan back into midfield, who's missed the last few games, but he is in good form. He was playing well when he was in the side before, so I don't think we're weakening the midfield massively by having Merkins and Craigan in there. So the full team for today's game, we've got Smith in goal, a back four of Tomelty, Fowler, Jackson and Keneally, with Wordsworth, Merkins and Craigan in midfield, Benteke in behind Byrne and Schiavi, whose name I still can't say. It's Sam Byrne's first start of the season, but 7.84 over the last 5 games. He's the form player at the club, although it's only really happening in 20 to 30 minute cameo appearances, but he has got a goal already as well, which is no bad thing. Apologies as well if it sounds like I'm panting into the microphone today. I've got the sniffles, can't breathe through my nose, so at the end of every sentence, big gasp for breath to try and make it through the next little bit. That probably wasn't the best idea. Oh, I've confused my lungs now. Oh, we're full of air for the first time in ages. Excellent stuff. Let's get into the game. I'll try not to pant through it too much. I'll lean away from the microphone and hang my tongue out. You just assume it's a dog doing the video. Why on earth not? We're actually the favourites for the Plymouth game. That's unusual because Plymouth are still runaway leaders at the top of the league. They've been top of the league since about the third game of the season, when they displaced us and just went on a ridiculous winning run. They were unbeaten for a long, long time. They've lost 4 games probably in this second half of the season. So they're no longer the super-duper form team, although they're 1-0 up after 8 minutes, which that's not ideal. When we're playing without our superstar striker, it's not going to be one of those games where we score 4 or 5 goals today. So we were kind of hoping to keep things fairly tight at the back, so that we could just nab a goal and maybe nick a win the boring way. As it is, we've got to come from behind. We've done it plenty of times before. You've seen us do it plenty of times before. We have no fear yet. Obviously, if they score again, we'll get a little bit afraid. But for now, let's not panic too much. Benteke with a free kick. Jackson heads down to Fowler, and we're level with 10 minutes on the clock. George Fowler, I think that was his 4th goal of the season. Our 2 centre-backs combining. Cross comes in. Jackson heads down really nicely. And Fowler, in bags of space, gets a little bit of help from the deflection. It's 1-1. And let's knock the stuffing out of Plymouth and really go at them now. Let's be 4-0 up. Can't be 4-0 up. 4-1 up by half-time. That would be rather pleasant. Jackson with a flick on again. He's basically playing up front at the moment. But Byrne finds himself in a little bit of space, playing in the less familiar defensive forward role, because that's where we've been playing Pike all season long. So why mess up the system that is working well? Obviously, when Byrne was in the team last year, he was playing as a target man. That was a big chance for Plymouth that's just gone wide. Hopefully, missing that. It's all part of their knocking the stuffing out of them plan. Wordsworth finds Merkins. Benteke in quite a bit of space here. Probably shouldn't have had the shot. We have the 2 forwards hanging around on the edge of the 6-yard box, who could have just quite liked a little through ball. It was poked through to him, but it was not to be. I guess a draw, certainly in this game, wouldn't be the end of the world. It would leave us 6 points behind Plymouth with 16 games left. They're catchable as long as we then go and beat Swindon, but obviously the Swindon game is away from home and they're in better form than Plymouth are. They're a lot closer than we are to closing the gap on them, only 2 points behind as it stands right now. So I imagine that's probably going to be the harder of the 2 games. So I guess to stay in touch, we kind of need to win this one, which isn't the best situation to be in, especially when we're without Pike. But we're coming at them again here. Wordsworth, a nice attacking position again. Benteke was in and should have done a little bit better with that. We're now ahead for clear-cut chances. Byrne slotted it through to Benteke. And it goes out for a corner. Wordsworth, can he do some magic? I don't even know what happened there. About 4 of our players touched the ball in quick succession, but it ended up flying wide of the post. Schiavi's not playing particularly well. I guess it's the first time he's played alongside Sam Byrne, so it's going to take a little bit of getting used to. It would have been nice to still have Obi at the club to bring him into the side today. I know he wasn't spectacular during his loan spell, but he was a good link-up man and seemed to create lots for Benteke and Schiavi running around him when he was on the pitch. And it's not great having to bring a player in who's barely played for us all season for what are our 2 biggest games of the year. Like I said in the intro, season defining. Tick it off again if it's on your bingo card. Right, we need to make some changes. Schiavi's going to come off and we're going to go for last season's strike partnership. Taylor Crossdale comes on to play alongside Byrne for the first time this season, and Keneally's not being great either there at right back, so Romeo can come on for him. There you go. Seamus Keneally's made a good impression on you, hasn't he? He's not a right back. That's not what we signed him to do. I don't really know why I played. I wanted to get Craigan back into the side. That was the main reason for dropping him back there. But as you can see, Craigan also not having a very good game. So Broccoli can come on for him. And then we're going to swap those 2 around. Stick Merkins a little bit further forward. Broccoli is a perfectly adequate ball-winning midfielder and with potential to improve. So it doesn't hurt to have him in the side. Nothing has happened in this second half, has it? I mean, this is our first highlight right at the end of the game. And I think it's probably just the match-ending highlight. We're not going to threaten the goal in any way. Broccoli just, letting them have the ball. 1-1, not the end of the world. Would have been nice to pick up a win. And it does add a bit of extra pressure for the Swindon game because they're breathing down the necks of Plymouth now and can go top if they win next week. And that leaves, hold on, what happened in the other game? How close Morecambe could pull level with us. So Swindon could go top, Morecambe could pull level with us. That nice little cushion we had could be about to evaporate, and Plymouth could be off the top of the league for the first time since, there you go, the 6th match of the season. Right, changes ahoy for the Swindon game. Plummer is now fit again and comes back into the back four. Fowler moves out to right back to make room for him, which pushes Keneally back into midfield, where he was very good for his first couple of games for the club. That drops Cragen out of the side, and also we're going to risk Rekyle Pike. He's only at 82% conditioning, but he's got over his sniffly nose. I wish I had. Mine's still... I mean, I feel for you, Pikey. You know... blocked up. Perhaps I need a week off. Perhaps I've got the flu. Let's get into the game. We haven't got a goalkeeper on the bench today because our youth team keeper, who usually sits there, has been playing in a youth team game because organisation skills are not my forte. So we've got 7 outfield players on the bench, and why on earth not? What's the worst that could happen? Cue a goalkeeper injury and our season falling apart because of it. Right. Oh, we've had the only shot of the opening 15 minutes of the game. That's rather splendid. Although Swindon are coming at us here, and that was threatening. That was a bit of a worry. They've hit the woodwork already, and we need to go up there and rattle their cage a little bit as well. Merkins picks the ball back fairly deep, just knocking it around nicely on our back four. Although they've nicked the ball back on the halfway line and are coming at us again, and they've got men in space on the far side of the pitch. They've hit the post again. We need to get up the other end and make them pay for these couple of missed chances. Only one of them's gone down as a clear-cut chance. I guess that one was a cross that bounced back off the post, so it was a poor cross rather than a chance for a striker. But they've still hit our woodwork twice, and I don't remember us having a shot yet. Fowler's in a crossing position. He's in, and we're 1-0 up. There you go, cage rattled. Now you're talking. So I like the fact that Fowler can play out at right back just as effectively, if not more effectively, than he plays at centre back. We saw him score a set piece goal in the last game, working well with Jackson from a corner or a free kick. I forget what it was. Now we've seen him whipping in a nice cross for Schiavi to make it 1-0. And Look at for a minute there, the top of the league table looked beautiful, but Plymouth have obviously gone ahead in their game. So as it stands, we're still 6 points behind them, but right breathing down the necks of Swindon. And we need to be as well, because it looks like Morecambe are winning. We're 2-0 up. That's good. Not so good. Morecambe are winning. So if this does fall apart against Swindon, Morecambe are going to be level on points with us, and that lovely cushion is completely evaporated. That's a lovely little finish from Schiavi. Ideal time just before half time as well. It's a good time to score. Tick it off on your bingo cards. Goodness me. Right, Pike is not having a very good game. To be fair, he's not fit. He hasn't trained for 10 days, so I can understand why he's not having a good game. He's tired. We're probably going to bring him off fairly soon, so we don't want to risk breaking him for the rest of the season. But part of me wonders if Schiavi's getting as much space up top as he is because they're afraid of the man who's already on 22 goals for the season, or like 50 if you count the news reports that claim he's the highest goal scorer in the history of the world. We are going to take him off though and bring Sam Byrne on again. And we're going to make a change in midfield as well. We're going to take off Merkins and bring Cragen on. I know he wasn't great in the last game, but I like Cragen. Hopefully last game was a bit of a blip, and getting him back out there as the playmaker in midfield again moves Keneally back into the ball-winning midfielder position that we signed him to do, and hopefully solidifies us in the midfield a little bit, whilst giving us that little bit of extra creative spark going forward. See, sometimes I don't just talk in cliches. I can sound like I'm doing it all deliberately. Schiavi's got his hat-trick because it's all deliberate. There you go. Kev does tactics. We're closing in on second place in the league. We're still 1 point behind Swindon, but this is now becoming an emphatic result that it's hopefully the kind of game that makes them think, oh, perhaps we didn't deserve where we were. Let's go on a losing streak. And Morecambe are very eager to get involved in the promotion fund, so why not get them involved as well? We're going to take Keneally off as well and just bring on Broccoli again to slot into his little ball-winning midfielder position, which certainly if we don't go up will be his spot next year. We might need to sign someone a little bit better if we do go up, but I think in this league he's ready to make that position his own next year. So for him, he'll be a little bit disappointed if we get promoted, because it'll be another season on the bench probably. But there you go. That is a cracking result. We've got another difficult game against Mansfield coming up next. But more important than any of that, with 15 games remaining, we're only 1 point behind Swindon and only 6 points behind Plymouth. It's still going to be a tall order to win the league, but we are starting to look a little bit more comfortable hovering around the automatic promotion positions. And look at that on the average ratings. Jackson, best player in the division. Pike, third best player in the division. Benteke up in second for assists. How is Pike not on the top goal scorers chart? Tom LT, top on yellow cards. Well, we all knew that. Pike must be hovering just outside that top three. There he is. Fourth place, 19 goals from only 22 appearances. So if we go goals per minute, he is the lowest one. So hopefully, if he can stay fit, he'll push into that top three as well. He's not far behind. And it'd be nice to have a quick, clean sweep of average rating, assists and goals. That's what we're looking for. So Benteke and Pike need to pull their fingers out. If you've enjoyed that, make sure you pop a like on there for me. Subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more. And thank you very much for watching.